G'day mate, welcome back to my cooking show. On the cooker today is a ms660 clone NeTech. It's a NeTech, what they call this thing, ns892. Now it's a big bore. I've zeroed the wheel in, so I'll show you where the intake is. It's bad. Could be a couple of reasons, but yeah, the intake itself is not square on with the piston. It's lopsided, the same as this one here, which came off it. This is a brand new one. So, coming up, that's just there, that's the intake. So, 88 degrees, really, pretty bad. I want to be roughly about here. About 80, 81 I'll be happy with. So I'll show you. We get still. Cool. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll get you off the tripod. So that's what it looks like if I get it where I want it to be. That's 80 degrees. So back to where it was. So back down, back up. So that's where it cracks. So cracks there. So that's 88. So I'm not happy with that. The same as the other one. The other one I think was 90 degrees. So I'll swap pistons, swap cylinders over and show you that one, the original one that I first had on here. So a little bit of backstory. This piston was my Christmas present, and I kind of thought maybe this piston is the problem. Skirt wise, the skirt isn't long enough. It's a highway. I got it for $35 for another saw, so it weren't deep, but that was $35 free postage. So I thought maybe there's something wrong with that. You can move the piston against the crank just a bit, so they could put longer skirts on this piston, but I just checked the piston out with the piston that came with the kit, same size skirt, so it's not a piston problem. So the piston's got small holes where this highway has got big holes. So I'll put the old cylinder back on, and we've got base gaskets. You have to have a base gasket with these. Otherwise, the piston hits the top of your cylinder and you can't turn it over. So she's close. Good compression, but there's no crank compression. And I'll talk about that in a sec. So I'll put the cylinder back on. I'll show you what the difference is. So she's almost back on. All I'm going to do is nip them up just to show you what the intake is on this thing. I'm not doing 2 bolts, but base gasket's still there. I haven't cleaned anything really up, but just to show you guys where the intake is on this one. It should be the same really. I thought it was 90 degrees last night, I think. So nip it up. A little pressure. No, I haven't changed the degree wheel. All should be the same. I could check it but last time, but yeah, it's good. Now I'll put you back where you can see it. Need bigger shed, guys, and need bigger shed. So we'll go back there. Turn that. You should be able to see that. And then we'll talk about why this is wrong. Now, my torch back on. Right, going up. That's the piston cracking there. Yeah, so 90 degrees. So it's not good enough. Yeah, okay, well I'll explain to you why. Hang on. Try and talk as clear as I can. I'm not bloody easy, guys, not easy at all. Not for me. I'm Australian, I had a stroke, I've got medical problems, but I still think about chainsaws clearly as all hell. Now, because I'm Australian, we do everything the way we think's right. The Australian know-how. If we can't do it, we'll find a way to do it. Now, that's your crankshaft, conrod and everything. That's top dead center. So 0 degrees. If you go halfway, that's 90 degrees. If you go all the way, that's 180 degrees. And I'm talking about your degree wheel. So if you look at your degree wheel, if I go to 90 degrees, if you're looking like that, that'd be 90 degrees. Okay? If you do 180 degrees, your piston looks like that. It's a 25cc saw. That's the easiest way to see it. That's 180 degrees, or bottom dead center, that's down there. Yeah, you back up to it like that, another 90 degrees. Now, if your intake's opening at 90 degrees, which is, say there, 90 degrees, and your piston's going down, you watch how quickly the piston doesn't move much. That's it. Piston's not compressorizing the crankcase much at all. See, at 90 degrees, it starts moving back to 180 degrees. You're not getting much compression in your case at all. But if you go to, say, 80 degrees, which is about there, I suppose, you start moving the piston down real quick. So you add more compression to the crankcase. And I've argued this point with Pharmatech, and they're saying it's not a problem. But about case compression, to your saw, you're not going to get flow when your transfers open up. It's not going to be a lot of pressure to throw your old exhaust out, fill your exhaust area with fuel and air and all that, and start the cycle back up again. So I'm going to do some cooking, and hopefully this will work. But I'll get the cylinder off I've already got there, and I'll show you what I do with that. So do some cooking, and hopefully the cooking will work. Hang on, guys. Cooking. Let's get the cylinder off. Are we still recording? Yes, we are. It's only on loose, really, not tight. Nipped up. Yeah, I'm going to cook it, and hopefully, I've never done this before, but I don't like the idea of doing JB World, because I have seen what JB World does over time, but I want to just prove to myself, if the Pharmatech Big Ball kit's a waste of time, or I can find another piston. And I'm thinking a piston out of a 395 Husqvarna, because they've got a 56mm piston. I think it's a 56, are they? I think they are. I'll have to have a look. Not 58, but 54, yeah, it'd be 56. So a standard piston, I wonder if that'll fit in the same area. But I'll find that out in a second. So what I'm going to do, get these bolts back out. They're too tight. Not the saw I'd prefer to walk on. I'd prefer solo over these, working on those and the Husqvarna in a lot of ways. I just don't like the intake boot. It's a pain with the butt to work on. So I'll bring you over here. So you can see this cylinder's already been poured, been opened up. I am intending to open these lower transfers way more to give more case volume, because to have fuel and air in there, you need more. If you haven't got much case compression, you need more to get more volume to make stuff move. So they've been opened up. Now it has split back. That's because the intake time is wrong. I put these little tags outside the intake manifold, chamber there. So when they split back, come through as the piston closes, it's like too many sheep trying to go through a hole and they get jammed. So that has worked. That's better. That has worked, but I still don't have enough flow for the fuel and air down the bottom. So the exhaust has been opened up pretty wide. Pretty happy with that. And the other thing I have to do is modify the cylinder. So what I'm going to do, I haven't got face screen. These phone doesn't work. Mine's all scratched. So I've got a piston here. It's a brand new one. Let me torch off for a sec. So I got a brand new piston. Now with this particular setup, the highway piston, there's no what do you call it? There's no flow under the piston itself. Can't remember they call it free porting. There's no free porting on this particular cylinder, so it's pretty good. But this piston here, there is free porting. So the Pharmatech piston is slightly different. There's no base gasket, so maybe with the base gasket on this, there wouldn't be free porting. So don't show that there. Probably not. Make sure the piston's in the right way. Yep. Throw it down. Square up. So you can look on that. There's light come through. Hope you can see that. Now if I lift that piston up just a tiny bit, don't know if I can hold it though. Lift it up to where it might be with a gasket. Find a bit of piston to hang on to. I think I can do it, guys. That's probably where the piston would be with base gasket, I'd say, but there's no, you can't modify the exhaust, it's too hot, so I think it might be alright. Now, what I'm going to do, I fix this issue up. Sorry guys, didn't mean to flash you. I've seen guys do it different ways. The Australians, we always find out our own way to do shit. It's where we do things. Now, what I'm going to do, I've got to clean all the intake out in this, make sure she's cleans all hell. The grease, brake clean it, make sure that's nice in there. I'm going to JB weld that. So, what I'm going to get is a piece of baking paper, right? This paper is designed so when you cook biscuits or whatever else, it doesn't stick to it. So I'm going to use this for the same reason. So the JB weld doesn't stick to the piston. So I'll give it that. Not that much, I suppose. Wrap it around the piston. I'll get this just setting up to show you guys. Wrap around the piston. Like that. And shove that down the ball. Now hopefully they'll fit. I might have to do it less. Might handle that much paper. Let's see if it fits. Might have to put the paper in first, I suppose, me. I haven't done this before, so I'll make that sure. You can feel the grease on this, the grease, wax, or silicone, or whatever the hell it is. Kids do cooking, so I got the idea from the kids. Let it down like that. Should test this first time, shouldn't I? Put it down. Put it down the cylinder. Because I've seen a lot of guys do the big boards and I just wasn't happy the way it performed. After watching the video many times, it's like, yeah, it does perform, but not the way, it doesn't crack the way it should crack. With the bugger on fuel, it doesn't run hard. I'm just not happy. So I put it in down like that. Try and get the piston in there. Might have to stick that maybe. Right, she's tight. Or maybe one little piece of this stuff then, alright? Go like that. That might work better. Still long. Still too long. And there's two different sides. There's one side, that side there is very slippery. This side here is rough. So I'm not sure if they're the same, they probably are, but I'll do the smooth side to the port. So hopefully that'll fit in there now. Yeah, that'll work. That'll do, pig, that'll do. So push that up. And there we go. So that will cover the port. I'll bring the piston up the height I want. Okay, that's covering the intake port itself. So I'll probably shove a screwdriver underneath the piston for the exhaust port there. And then that will be a hard point for you guys. Hard to see. That'll allow me to actually put the JB weld. Sorry guys. JB weld in that port, and there'll be a piston behind that, and get the perfect shape of what I want. And I have to give a bit more time into this thing, so I'll get 80 degrees hopefully. But that's all it is. Hold the piston up, the exhaust port just there. So I'll shove something in there, screwdriver or whatever. But yeah, I just don't like the way it's set up. So I'll get that done, clean it up, I'll get back to you. So this is how I'm going to approach this. Now there's two rings in the cylinder. Light in there for you. There's two rings down there. That's going to stop the piston. And it's going to put the piston where I want the piston to be. So I can work on it, put the torch back on my head. Right. So as the piston goes down in the cylinder, it'll be where I want it to be. So where's that arrow? So the piston will be down that far, okay? So that way I have a full wall of the piston on the intake like that. There's no ring holes in there or nothing like that. So that will be a good spot to have that piston sitting like that. I'll probably put the other ring on top of the hole down so I can just lift up like that and put the JB weld in the hole like that, and yet let gravity do its thing and go where it wants to go. That's probably going to be the way I'll do it, I suppose. And that other ring will hold the paper where it has to be held to. So I'll put that back in. So that's how it ended up. That's the original ring from the piston, the motor float. It's a high ring, so I'll put it there. That holds everything in place. There's two rings on the top of the piston and the cylinder in there holding that in place. And the cooking paper, what they call it, baking paper, is where it has to be like that. So now I can make up the JB World and just pour it down the hole and should be done. So I'm going to mix it up on some baking paper and just see how sticky it is to that and just see how it works. But I don't know what other I can use that's fuel safe, but I know this does go soft over time. But I just wanted to make sure I can make this particular cylinder and piston raw. It should pull hard, really hard for a size motor it is. I'll get this filled up. Well, putting these JB World on the baking paper, waste of time, wouldn't do that again. The paper doesn't stay still and it folds up. Yeah, it's just too hard. I've got a bit of cardboard, made it a lot easier. I don't do this very often, but I also found out too, JB World does go off pretty quick too. So the black one, that's really thick. It's like more consistency of clay. Must be going off. The white one, that was alright, that's still quite moist, so that doesn't quite well. So, probably ready to throw them out, get some new ones. More JB World. Yeah. So, I fill up the hole. I think gravity did the best. So I end up using my Neotech tuning screwdriver, that one there. Should have used a paddle pop stick of that ice block. I managed to push that down with my finger to where it has to be, to the piston. So that should be alright with that. Plenty of meat in there, I'll be filled it up. So tomorrow when that goes off, I'll pull the piston out, do the camera, hopefully it's not stuck. And redo this to 80 degrees on the timing, open up the lower transfers and put this all back together and see how she goes. But I think this will solve these cylinder problems. They can't compress it. If you're not getting that piston to throw that fuel down quickly with a crank, speed-wise, if the speed goes, it starts moving fuel in there real quick. I should move the crank, not the piston. So the piston goes down real quick like that. But once it gets to about 90 degrees, it hardly moves. It's real slow. I want to throw the air and fuel in real quick. That's why you can't do too much intake timing. So that explains what I'm doing. Too much intake timing means slower air. Alright, thanks guys for watching. Over and out.